this is Zohran. We're gonna do a little timeline. I'm doing this chronologically. We're gonna talk about what happened today, but before that, I want to do a little bit of context to it. So we're gonna watch. We're gonna see what the hell happened, what's been happening, what is the world coming to. Let's find out. Here was Zohran, I think, 3 months ago. This is 3 months ago, and I think for whatever reason, Tom Homan, that border czar fella who looks like a combination of an orc and a thumb and a snowman. He was in New York. I'm not sure why. He doesn't belong there clearly, but the I think this was in regards to them capturing or kidnapping Mahmoud Khalil for, what the White House admitted was not any crime. He didn't do any crime, but they abducted him. So Zohran had something to say about that, I think. So we're gonna watch that first. So this happened about 3 months ago now.
How many more New Yorkers? How many more New Yorkers will you detain? How many more New Yorkers without charge? Do you believe in the First Amendment? Do you believe in the First Amendment, Tom Homan?
Keep in mind, this is
Tom Homan.
He was polling at like
to answer for that
10% or less at this point.
Because there is no answer for taking a man from his pregnant wife, who is due to deliver their newborn child in a month, from their Columbia University apartment, a day after that same man, Mahmoud Khalil, wrote to Columbia University and said he feared for his life.
Oof.
The cowardice that is on display across our city and our state is unacceptable. New Yorkers are looking to us. They are looking to their leaders for courage and for conviction. And what they are finding instead is collaboration. And that is just
Eric Adams collaborates. It's gross.
How many more New Yorkers? How many more New Yorkers?
I will say this is the only time I've ever heard, like, even when Cuomo was pronouncing his name wrong at the debate on purpose, like, Zohran did not get aggro, did not get yelly, did not get angry. He was just kind of like sassily and wittily telling him off kind of thing, exposing his obvious racism. But here he's yelly, he's upset. This is the only time I've ever seen the guy like not as, do you believe in the First Amendment? And I think it's good to see this. I think it's good to see that you can indeed piss Mamdani off if you try. If you're fascist enough, you will indeed make him a little upsetty. So that's cool. Anyway, fast forward a few months. Now Mamdani here, instead of being an unknown candidate, is the leading candidate in the race. And after the first polls came out that had him in the lead, then this happened. These were also after the first polls, I believe, that showed that Lander here was in third place. So right now, I think the polls are saying Zohran 1, Cuomo 2, Lander 3.
Hey, good morning.
How's it going?
Please go second.
And we watched this yesterday, but it's very cute and it's short, so we'll watch again.
We both love New York City.
And that's why it's so important to not send scandal-ridden, corrupt Andrew Cuomo to City Hall.
New Yorkers deserve so much better than a disgraced creep.
Agreed.
Zohran, you've done a remarkable job building a historic grassroots campaign for a New York City all New Yorkers can afford.
Brad, you've been a principled, progressive
Brad
leader
Lander, or as I call him,
Early
Dad
voting starts
Lander.
tomorrow, and we both know what we need to do to save our city from Andrew Cuomo.
The most dad-coded politician in the nation.
Let's do it together. We're cross-endorsing.
In New York City, we have ranked choice voting. That means you can rank up to 5 candidates for mayor.
Brad and I are officially telling our supporters.
Rank me number one, rank Zohran number 2. Let's send Andrew Cuomo
back to the suburbs.
Even his stance is very dad-coded. Look at how he stands. Look at how he stands with his coffee. He's very dad-coded. Oops.
Rank me number one, rank Zohran number 2.
Let's see the little power stance. Look at that. Look at that dad stance. We stand. We respect. We love Dad Lander. So this happened. Then this was kind of historic because no two candidates had ever cross-endorsed in the New York mayoral race before. So this was kind of historical. This was kind of a dealio. And then what was this? 4 days ago. So now let's look at what happened yesterday. So 3 days after that comes out, basically, like, this came out on like the Friday, And here's what happens on Monday. It's not good. We're gonna watch it.
Sir, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens.
In just an absolutely wild story and one of the clearest examples of Trump's fascist state yet, New York City mayoral candidate Brad Lander, also the city's controller, was arrested by...
Oh yeah, he's the acting comptroller of the city too. He's in charge of NYC's finances also currently, just to put that
federal
into perspective.
agents while inside of an immigration court for people that he was standing up for. To be clear, Brad Lander is a U.S. citizen, U.S. born.
Put this.
And he was snatched up.
I don't want to fast forward through the
federal
footage, but I can fast forward through the commentary.
Trying to defend them while asking for a judicial warrant. So each, I'll get to more details of the story. Each detail progressively gets more insane. You're going to hear what was overheard leading up to the arrest and the statement from what the officials, the ICE agents, are saying in defense of the arrest. So I'll get to that first. Here is the video of what happened. This was shared on Twitter by journalist Dean Moses.
Sir, where is the warrant?
So he, just as a preface, he's holding on to an illegal immigrant who was just at their hearing. These ICE goons were like camping out the hearing. Like the judge said, you're fine to go, whatever, come back to your next hearing. The ICE agents are trying to abduct him anyway, like against the court's wishes. And Brad Lander, the city's acting comptroller, like the lead finance guy of the whole city, is saying, I'm not letting this immigrant go until you ICE goons at least show me a warrant. Because, yeah, so that's the context here.
I would like to see the warrant, and then I will let go. I would like to see the warrant, and then I will let go. Take him in. Let's go. You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. Sir, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens. You don't have the... I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway. I asked to see the judicial warrant. By asking for a judicial warrant? You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens asking for a judicial warrant. Stay back, please. Stay back.
We go too. Sorry. No way. I'm safe. Where are you taking him? Hello?
Since you have no authority to arrest U.S. citizens...
So all he did was hold on to the guy.
With what authority?
They don't have any warrants. They don't have... He didn't do anything. They're just grabbing him.
Just a completely insane video. You just watched what happened. He didn't do anything. They arrested him for simply being there to stand up for immigrants at an immigration court. Now, I'm going to get to some more details and what they claim. And again, you watched the video, you saw what happened. What they claim is a complete, an obvious lie.
True.
Before I get there, just some of the images coming out of this are wild. Shannon Watts sharing this. ICE is the new American Gestapo. No one is safe. So the city has a really good report on this. This is a New York-based website. A reporter from the city had overheard one agent say to another minutes before Lander's arrest, quote, "Do you want to arrest the controller?" They decided on a whim. We have so much power, we get away with whatever the hell we want. Hey, do you want to arrest this guy who's standing up for these immigrants? And then they went on to arrest him. Now, this is their defense. I laughed out loud reading this. Quote, "The New York City controller, Brad Lander, was arrested for assaulting law enforcement and impeding a federal officer." Is that what you saw in that video? Brad Lander assaulting law enforcement? Our heroic ICE law enforcement officers, who are such cowards that they have to cover their face a 413% increase in assaults against them. Oh, poor angels. It is wrong that politicians seeking higher
office... Did he assault? I missed the part where he insulted or assaulted law enforcement. I missed that.
Why are they at immigration court? This used to not be a thing.
Yeah, it is similar to what happened to
immigration
the Senator
court didn't make
Padilla.
headlines. These are people going to their meetings.
He's a senator,
ICE
right? He's not a
agents
He's
are
not a
targeting them to
House
arrest
rep, right?
people.
He's a senator.
No one is above the law. And if you lay a hand on a law enforcement officer, you will face consequences. Just the saddest bunch of children.
To get a viral if that was his attempt, if that was Brad Lander's attempt to get a viral moment, which you could say like, yeah, maybe he does think that since he's in third, you know, him having this publicity could help him, he could be seen as more I don't know, you know, it'd bring more but like, if that's true, then why arrest him? Like, why do that? You didn't have to like give him that moment if you just like weren't fascist, you know what I mean? Like, they caused that situation, so they can't like blame him for trying to get a viral moment. It's crazy.
It is remarkable the absolute bullshit they are trying to claim here and how they are defending their sweet, sweet little babies. So the city goes on to write, Lander was making his third trip to accompany immigrants attending court.
Well, that was his third trip. But this was his first trip after he cross-endorsed Zohran.
Hearings over the last month as federal agents, often masked, have begun staking out courtrooms to detain people, leaving what had been routine hearings. He's the only mayoral candidate who's done so. So all the credit in the world to Brad Lander for standing up for these people, and now he's a target. Chris Person shared this, which I did not catch. So one of the agents, I guess the one who's not wearing a mask, was wearing this t-shirt that translates to, if you want peace, prepare for war. What's the argument against this being the case?
Is that really, like, how are ICE agents even allowed to wear this shit? I guess they're just like, they're supposed to be like plain clothes, but it's not, is it considered plain? I guess it's technically plain clothes if you're wearing like fascist propaganda. Like, what the hell? Like, it's a literal, like, if somebody had a tattoo like this shirt, they would send them to fucking like Guatemala or wherever the hell they send people. Like, you'd be in fucking, you'd get sent to the Bay of Pigs. Like, you'd be done. You'd be in Guantanamo if you wore this shirt as like an immigrant in the States. But the ICE agents can wear it while they're, you know, arbitrarily arresting citizens. Okay.
Dapo. Here is Brad Lander's wife after he was arrested.
The hallways are full of volunteers, amazing volunteers standing up for people, and of ICE agents and other agents that are not, their affiliations not indicated. They're in full regalia. They have masks, many times pulled up to the bridge of their nose. And it is a place of intimidation. It is a place of fear. It is not, I mean, we are standing near the courts and the other things. This is not a way we do with rule of law. This is not the way people are treated in the United States. And so I feel really rattled and scared. And my husband is a candidate for mayor, is an elected citywide official, is a U.S. citizen, has a U.S. passport. And I know in all likelihood he's going to be okay. And all of the other folks in that building are risking having their families torn apart with inadequate explanation. And it's an abomination, and it is not what we stand for in this country. It is not right.
Credit there to Brad Lander's wife, Meg Barnett, for using a lot of her time as she was speaking to cameras, focusing on the people being targeted, the immigrants being targeted unjustifiably. But she mentioned something really important there. A lot of the agents aren't identifiable. They're just wearing jeans and a shirt. I mean, you saw the shirt I showed you earlier. They're masks. They could be anybody. Just going up and saying, hey, we're arresting you. They could literally be anybody. And this is in many situations where these agents are showing up with unmarked vehicles, unmarked clothing, wearing masks. Who's to say who they even are? So this goes to what Meg Barnett was mentioning there, the level of intimidation that is on display from people who you can't even identify if they were to arrest you, who they actually are. But I want to share this as well from Zohran Mamdani, who has cross-endorsed. Him and Brad Lander have cross-endorsed each other because it is a ranked ballot. He goes on to say here on Twitter, New York City Controller Brad Lander was just arrested by Trump's ICE agents because he asked to see a judicial warrant. This is fascism, and all New Yorkers must speak in one voice. Release him now.
That in his ask and in their response, we saw that ICE has no interest in the law. It has no interest in order. it only has an interest in terrorizing people across this country. And in this exact moment, New Yorkers and Americans are looking to leaders to meet this moment, to showcase the courage that is necessary. The stark contrast from the collaboration and the cowardice we have seen. And what Brad did was engage in that very moment of courage. He showed us what leadership can look like. And for that, he was arrested. And we have to be clear about this. This is not about an election. This is about ensuring that we protect the city and the country that we love.
And credit to Gwen Hogan for her piece, both in the city and for sharing that clip on Blue Sky. I think it's important now more than ever to support independent media, support independent journalists that are giving you the full story, that are on the ground, telling you what is going on. That is the only way I'm able to do commentary covering this kind of thing, is because the actual journalists are on the ground telling you what is happening. So, as Zohran Mamdani points out, this is really a moment where we're seeing the separation between true leadership and everybody else. People like Brad Lander standing up for immigrants in immigration court. Zohran Mamdani has been consistently calling out Donald Trump and his police. On the other hand, you have people like Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, who are practically nowhere to be seen.
True. It's funny how you never see the big Democrats talk about this.